and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, how we doing here on this hot Thursday afternoon? I was just outside a little bit ago.
Oh yeah, I was outside too. I thought it was kind of nice out. I did a lot of gardening this morning. It's shaded in the morning. There was a nice breeze. I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to be outside. Hacking away at some dead plants. Yeah, it was good. Good stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been nice the past few days, but the humidity seems to be picking up today. There's a heat warning for tomorrow, so it's gonna be a hot one out there this weekend.
Man.
Yeah, man, it's a hot one. Got not a ton of news to discuss, but there's some, Porter Martone to Michigan State. We'll get into that. Matvei Mickhov his first year here in North America with the Flyers. He recently In the thing.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't, because he's gone back to Russia and whatnot. So you can't say, oh, he's been in North America for a year. But
yeah, I mean, more like the U.S. is kind of the 1980s horror film, The Thing, at this point. And, yeah.
Yeah. We also have some interviews that he had recently that were translated about his missed empty net, playing dump and chase. We'll get into that as well. Of course, make sure you guys like, subscribe, smash that like button on YouTube.
Smash it.
Join the chat, comment afterwards. We appreciate all of that. I don't think anything else happened in the hockey world today. If you're looking for something, you can check out the Broad Street Hockey on our socials. We got a post up there supporting WOAR in Philadelphia. Just for just felt like it here on this Thursday.
Yeah, the WOAR, for those that don't know, is the Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence. If you aren't in Philadelphia and would feel so inclined to donate to your own local chapter, feel free. I see on Blue Sky that Raw Charge, which is the Tampa Bay Lightning team, they made a donation to the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. So if you live outside of Philadelphia and you want to do something a little closer to your home, by all means.
Yeah, do what you can. Check in on your friends. Just log off if you have to. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. But we're gonna plug away here. We planned a podcast for Thursday. I did not realize what it was, but we're gonna keep it going here. I had to postpone. I had to postpone earlier in the week, so that's on me here. But yeah, last episode we discussed our opening night lineups. I think that was last episode.
Yes.
And neither of us had Porter Martone, so
we did not.
I can't imagine you were caught off guard by him committing to Michigan State.
Well, Michigan, yes. Going to the NCAA, no.
Michigan State it is, Joe, because there's Michigan and there's Michigan State. It's two
and then there's the Harvard of the Midwest, which is where,
and there's Western Michigan, where Bump was.
No, all of the smoke had been that he was going to go to Penn State, but I imagine that maybe he's going to get more money at Michigan.
Yeah, probably more money, because Penn State apparently gave Gavin McKenna a lot of their NIL budget, which makes sense. And I kind of like Martone going away from McKenna, so where he can hopefully drive his own line, drive play, be the star there.
Absolutely.
And not be taking a back seat to McKenna, and everyone be like, oh, he only had these many points because he's playing with McKenna. Like, he'll get a chance to play with great players at Michigan State. Caden Lindstrom's going there.
Shane Van Sage.
Shane Van Sage's already there. Like, Michigan State's a great hockey program, so it's going to be fantastic to be able to watch them up there.
That's Furschweiler's program, right?
It might be. No, he's Western Michigan.
Western Michigan.
Michigan,
damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to be like, there's the Keith Jones connection, right? Because him and Furschweiler played together, right? Or am I thinking of someone else?
No, I think that's who it was. Michigan State head coach is Adam Nightingale. There, he's been there for quite a bit. It looks like, played there, been the head coach there since 2022. Has 69, 35, and 9 records.
Nice,
pretty nice so far. As start
Very
there.
Nice.
Yeah. So Martone going to get a full season in the NCAA at Michigan State. Probably play World Juniors as well. And honestly, I'd be surprised and potentially even shocked if he doesn't get a few games with the Flyers at the end of the year.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I fully expect him to get a look. I mean, it depends. If his team goes on a run, maybe it would end too late for them to get to the Flyers, but
I looked at it from my article for BroadStreetHockey.com. Like and subscribe there. The Frozen Four, I believe, finishes on the 11th, and the Flyers play 2 final home games on like the 13th and 15th or something. And Bump.
That's also. I was going to say that also assumes that he's going to go to the final.
Yeah.
He could be done earlier
before that, but Bump last year I think played with the Phantoms like 2 or 3 days after winning the championship. Flyers have home games against Carolina and Montreal Monday the 13th, Tuesday the 14th. I believe the Frozen Four final would be Saturday the 11th there. So he could easily come here. Maybe he pulls, and Alex Bump is like, no, let me go to the Phantoms. Phantoms are going on a run. Yeah. But I think he's going to want to get some NHL time, and give the fans something to be excited about for those last 2 games. Possibly we get a playoff Porter as well.
Playoff Porter. I was going to say, can you imagine if the Flyers are in a fight for a playoff race, and he scores the goal that puts them over the edge and puts them into the wild card position?
Yeah,
and that would be a hell of an entrance.
He goes on a tear there and just has still Calder eligible next season. It'd be amazing.
He has a Makar level playoffs. That would be pretty cool. But we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves. Let's see how he does it at the NCAA level first. I expect he'll be great, and I would be surprised if he isn't on the Flyers at the end of this season at some point in April. He would have to totally just bomb all year at the NCAA for that to not happen, I think. But he definitely won't be going to the Phantoms. The Phantoms, we've talked about it, are going to be super, super young this coming season. That's cool. Everyone in the AHL makes the playoffs, I guess, but
pretty much.
I wouldn't be, pretty much. But I don't know if they'll be as poised to go on a run unless the youth really just has it out the gate. But you never know. Should be a fun season for the Phantoms too. Yeah,
Carson Bjarnason could make those transition to the pro game and seamlessly. It could that's all they need there with
Bonk, Barkey.
Bonk potentially, but a bunch of good young guys down there with the Phantoms. And Martone, he definitely could have made training camp, could have been on this team if the Flyers were trying to compete, if the Flyers had an open roster spot or 2 for him. But you don't want to have him make camp and then not make the team and go back to the OHL where he's playing against younger players, smaller players. They're bigger, older, faster in the college game, which would be, see how he does in that step up to prepare him for the NHL level. And the Flyers, like I said, have those guys that you want to see what Owen Tippett can do in second line minutes. You have Michkov connecting, going to be in the top 6. You want to see what Tippett can do there. You want to see what Forster can do there when he's healthy. Which I was thinking about that earlier. I wonder if we would have even heard about Forster's injury if it wasn't inaccurately reported beforehand and Briere was asked about it. So he could. I'm still holding out hope that he's healthy for the start of the year.
I mean, infections those are tricky, I think, compared to a broken bone is a broken bone that heals and you're good to go. But trying to weed out an infection that could be take a bit more of a delicate hand than.
Well, it's just if the infection goes away, they're just waiting on tests. I just imagine if it didn't come out somehow, they may have waited till August or September and been we got these tests back. He's been dealing with it. We've known about it. But, he's going to miss some start of the time. But, the fact that it didn't go out and get a veteran, they didn't go out and, keep Pelletier, I feel like Forster's going to be fine there. So the Flyers have the wingers to, play even middle 6 minutes where Martone would be.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so many wingers. They've got some guys that are probably going to be knocking on the door at camp. You don't need to replace him for 3 months, 4 months even. If he's out the whole season, cool. Alex Bump is probably going to play a full NHL season as a rookie. That's good development for him. So whatever, let it ride,
Yeah. You got Bump, you got Grebenkin who could be in the mix. Carson Dorwart, Kaplan, these guys. Obels even as a safe veteran option. Tony Dick we saw up last year. There's guys that you can have up and down from the Phantoms, rather than having Martone there. Maybe having a struggle and him having to play through it, and then maybe that's a lost year. It stunts his development, stagnates him a bit. So keep him on this path. OHL, college, NHL. I feel like that's the route a lot of players are going to take moving forward.
Oh, for sure. I bet there's going to be a renegotiation of agreements because there's going to be such a talent drain on the Canadian hockey leagues if the players are now able to go to college. And then you add in the fact that starting next season, 19-year-olds, one per franchise, will be allowed to play in the AHL. So that's further talent drain. I don't think Martone will be in the AHL next season, but Jack Nesbitt, he might be. So
Jack Nesbitt could be. Jack Nesbitt definitely
we'll
could
see
be,
how things play out there.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I brought this up on this podcast or just my other one, but I really wish kind of the NHL would move the draft age back a year. It would be a lot more exciting for Joe just made
to 17?
No, like to 19.
Oh, gotcha.
Like back a year. So because the excitement about like the NFL draft and NBA draft is these players are going on your team immediately. Like the casual hockey fans gonna be like, all right, who'd the Flyers get this year? All right, might see him in 2 or 3 years. We'll see what he does then. Like they'll never do it. There has to be a lot of logistics about it, but like I just feel like that would be a lot more exciting, and then be more sure things about it. Like I don't think it'll ever happen. It'll take a lot with the CHL, AHL, NCAA to all come together on it. But maybe down the line in a few CBAs.
I do wonder how that would impact GMs, because if you draft a guy and he's 3 years away, you can always sell the hope as a GM. But if you draft him and he starts immediately and he sucks, that's your ass on the line. So I don't know if front offices and ownership would be as keen to make the draft prospects older.
No. They don't want to change anything. They got the same 35 hockey men doing the same thing over and over. So they don't want to change any of the process.
Nope. And they've got the most boring opening game. Panthers versus Blackhawks. Just so stupid. Yes, the Panthers on opening day. That's cool. But the Blackhawks, they're an original 16 that nobody can watch because of their cable agreement or whatever it is. It's so stupid.
What are you talking about? You got the big Spencer Knight rivalry game angle there. They got Connor Bedard, Seth Jones. It's going to be and then Flyers starting their schedule in Florida as well. 2 of the first 3 games against Florida, with a game
I like that
against Carolina in the mix. Do you like it?
I do. I think that's an advantage because the cup hangover, the Panthers might be a little sluggish to start the year, while the Flyers come out with a chip on their shoulder and like maybe upset, or the Panthers just continue to roll, which I wouldn't put it past them.
The Panthers have tended to get out to a great start like through March and then kind of coast into the playoffs. That they've put that blueprint out there. Be like, all right, don't go balls to the wall in the regular season. Secure your playoff spot. Get your guys healthy. See what happens in the playoffs.
Tampa, I think, was the first one to do that after they had that 2019 season where they just set all the records and then got bounced in 4 by the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were the ones who were like, oh, screw this. Playoffs are the only thing that matter. Yeah,
but I mean, Flyers do have a tough schedule out of the gate. Florida, Carolina, Florida, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Seattle, Ottawa, Islanders, Pittsburgh, Nashville through that's their first October schedule there. So like, I mean, but I am expecting Rick Tocchet to get these guys good out of the gate. I highly recommend listening to Rick Tocchett's interview on the PDO cast that came out, I think Sunday or Monday. Listening to that, he talked about a lot of systems, a lot of what worked, what didn't work in Vancouver, what he might be able to do, with Michkov, talking about how they can dump and chase. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in there. And, you may not like the hire. You might have been like Kyle chasing the puck here, not wanting Rick Tocchet, but you can't help but see why the Flyers did it. And I feel like the Flyers are just trying to become a team where, players want to come to. And it seems like they're drafting a lot of players and developing players and development culture there, that they're getting players that teams are going to want to trade for. Like, teams want to trade for Paling. Teams want to trade for Hathaway, I'm sure. Teams, I'm sure, want to trade for like Sealer and like these bottom half of the lineup role players that you can replace with a kid through your culture, but other teams can't. Like, I feel like that's something that even with like getting Nesbitt, getting these bigger guys in 2 or 3 years, if Briere wants to cash these chips in for a 1C, they can.
Yeah. No, we've talked about it. Third lines win cups. You get a really good third line, and that's kind of your competitive advantage. Even a good fourth line. People were knocking the Florida Panthers for having a bad fourth line, and I thought their fourth line was pretty effective. Like, at least matched up against the Oilers. It was AJ Greer, Thomas Nosek, and Samoskevich.
Samoskevich was on there for a little bit. I think there was a bigger guy on there for Gadjevich. Yeah, Gadjevich was on there. Yeah. The Panthers, like a team like that, you can put plugs on the fourth line because the top three lines tire the other team out. The fourth line goes out there and just, wins battles, wins the shift. That's all they have to do.
Yeah. But yeah, those players they have value. The Flyers, their strength is on the wing. They have, in 3 years, they might have like 16 NHL caliber wingers and nowhere to play them. So, the trades will have to come just to get value out of these guys that are clearly ready for the NHL, but don't have a roster spot because they got beat out by better guys. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. One more thing with Martone is my pipe dream now is him and Vince Aggie convince Caden Lindstrom to only sign in Philadelphia, force his way out of Columbus to Philadelphia. Give Columbus a few wingers, a defenseman, and get that 2C to go with Lutsenko and Nesbitt.
You mean the guy who had back problems for like 2 straight years?
If he has a good year and he's healthy, come on down. We have no risk right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But
I'm a little it's a little riskier for me.
Yeah, it's a little risky, but if he has a good season in college, I feel like those would hopefully be behind him. No pun intended there with the back injuries.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, I mentioned the Michkov dump and chase thing. Have you seen this video that's been going around about how he's saying he hates dump and chase? And absolutely, he should hate dump and chase. He's a player that if every player was like him, there'd be controlled zone entry every time. Like we see when it's 3-on-3, especially even 4-on-4, how important puck possession is. And like he's just taking that one step further to 5-on-5. But at the same time, you have to understand there are times when you want to dump and chase, when you have the other team tired out, when you're up by 2 late in the game, just get the puck in deep, don't make any mistakes. So, that's why sometimes you see Michkov on the bench because he doesn't want to play dump and chase. You don't want him playing dump and chase. You don't want him out there in the corners potentially taking hits. But, I feel like Rick Tocchet will give him the leash that he needs to be creative offensively. And the Flyers have enough pieces where they can get a good defensive center or winger on his line with him.
See, that's where I'm at. Like, he doesn't have to chip and then retrieve it himself. If he wants to, like, ring it around the boards and Tyson Forster's on the off wing to pick it up, like, that's fine. Like, that works. That's good. And you can't just play one style of hockey because then it's way too easy to defend. Like, you can't just be like, opposing teams will see Michkov with the puck and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's just gonna carry it in. And then they cut that off and then he never gets his own entry. So you have to mix it up. You can't just, and we saw that with the Flyers. They were scoring off the rush in bunches in 2023-24. And then when the games got heavier, when teams started being like, playoffs are coming, we got to kind of get in that right frame of mind, that more physical game. They took away all of that space, all of that speed, and the Flyers just like nosedived from there. Couldn't buy a save either, but not scoring doesn't help.
Yeah, that's probably going to be like for the first period and a half of the game, have Michkov dumping in every time, so the defense expects that, and then he fakes a dump in, goes around the defense, and like makes a play. Like you can't be predictable. That's the whole thing. You cannot be predictable. You have to have different options up your sleeve.
I think he's smart enough to know when to do what as well. And I don't think I would want Noah Cates trying to do a controlled entry. I don't know if he has the puck skill to do that. Like, you need a mix of different kinds of players. I think on my opening night roster, I had Noah Cates as the left wing for like Zegras and Konechny or something, right? Like, it's.
I'm gonna pull it up right now because you had Cates, Zegras,
Noah Cates, and everyone's pointing to the Florida Panthers as like a dump and chase team, which they are, but they're not chimping it in. They're not chipping it in, going for a line change and then hoping someone on their team recovers it in the process. They are, I have to watch the tapes again, but it looks like they sling it around the boards and their forward is already like up on the play and in that board battle, draws the defense in, and then they're able to set up from there. Like if you have a second line of the future, it's Tyson Forster, Zegras, and Konechny, I can see a world where like what?
I'd put Luchenko there. I'd put Luchenko on that line. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, sure, that would work too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Tyson Forrester is the one that's going into the corners to get the puck back, and he can find one of Zegras or Konechny, as soon as the puck's on their stick, you set up shop in the offensive zone and you go to town. Like, you just need one person who's able to win those board battles reliably. Of course, then you get into the problem. It's like, oh, that guy's going to be in the board battle. Well, we just do this, that, and the other, and we can defend him. But Travis Konechny's no slouch either. I think he can. He gets after it a bit.
Yeah, he gets in there, and yeah, like you can talk about trying to play this system, trying to do this forecheck and whatnot, but so much of hockey is just like on the fly and being smart and intuition and knowing what your teammates are going to do, like knowing the chemistry, having a structured play style in place, which is why I think they were so successful 2 years ago under Tortorella, that they had that style, and then they lost pieces. They traded away some pieces. Players weren't playing up to their potential. So we saw what happened last year. But yeah, I mean, they have the pieces now where they can put solid lines together. Not a top line, but a few second lines, a few third lines. That's all you need. Because
I mean, if Zegras hits, if he gets back to where he was in his first 2 seasons in the NHL, then like maybe. But no, the Flyers have been clearly targeting prospects with high hockey IQ. A lot of the recent draftees, Luchenko especially. I would say Nesbitt probably has a really strong hockey IQ. Even Shane Van Sage, like, he's not a great skater. He has some skill, but he knows his role and just knows where he has to be and what he has to do. Like that, knowing your role is important. And like we talked about with Garnet Hathaway or Ryan Poehling or Nick Steeler earlier, those guys, they all know their role. And they excel in it because they're not trying to overextend themselves to be players that they know they're not. Like, Garnet Hathaway isn't delusional enough to think that he could be playing on a line with Connor McDavid. Like, he probably could, but it'd be weird.
He could be the third piece. He could be like the Zach Hyman there to go in and throw the body, and maybe not score as much, but go in and throw the body. But yeah, you need players that buy into whatever role they're going to be. If they know, what, I'm on the third line tonight, I'm on the fourth line tonight, but I know I'll get my ice time if I play the right way, if I play well. That's what we talked about with Vladar. That's Vladar's whole mindset coming in with Harrison. He's like, whoever plays better is gonna start. Like, that's just how it is, and that's, I feel like, is kind of why it's important to have the culture that the Flyers are building, is to get like, all right, get these guys to buy in, be like, all right, who's sticking it out here? Who has the good attitude through these rebuild years? And I think that they've weeded that out by now, and they really are starting to turn a corner. I mean, you saw that this offseason with Briere going out, getting those, 1 year, 2 year pieces to kind of shore up things after doing nothing last year, going into the year, being like, all right, let's figure out what Farabee is. Let's see what Frost is. Let's see what these guys can do. And it didn't have any kids coming up either. So that, like, there was just, let's just see what happens last year. And that should hopefully be where they bottom out.
I mean, it kind of sends a message to the room too. This summer, the off-season moves, like, hey, I can't go big game hunting, but I can get you a little bit of help. You will hopefully not have the worst goaltending in the league. You have a role player in Dvorak who can fit any position at, like, probably in the bottom 6, but if you need him on the second line due to injury or he's having like a hot streak, whatever, like, fine. But they got to show Briere, hey, if we're in the playoff race, you got to let us go. You can't just start subtracting pieces. If they're in a position like they were this year where this year was weird because so many teams were like within 5 points of each other.
That's how it always is.
Like, this was weird, dude. Like, the way that the East, especially the Metro, played out, like the Penguins, the Rangers, who else in the Metro missed?
Islanders,
like, all of them were so close to each other that if one team had a bad week and the other team had a good week, it just flipped the entire order. If that doesn't happen this year, and the Flyers are also at the bottom of the standings, then you have to consider trade deadline. I'm sure Briere will communicate to the players like, listen, you guys did your best. The standings are where they are. I'm getting first round pick offers for Christian Dvorak. Like I gotta do what's right for. Yeah. I still have to keep an eye on the future. Sorry.
Yeah, it kept open flexibility. Kept up with the 1 year deal, only a 2-year deal for Vladar. He kept that flexibility. If they're in the mix in the Metro, which I want to get into one of these next episodes, is like look at the Metro here, like because you got the Canes, and Devils. They're making the playoffs. Capitals are probably making it. We're going to be in the mix. We'll see if Columbus can repeat what they did or grow off that. Like Rangers, who knows what's going on there? Islanders and Pittsburgh's just selling. So, I mean, Flyers could very well be in the mix in the Metro next season. And one thing you said there, going back to it, you said Briere didn't really go big game hunting there, which kind of made me think like where would you rank Zegras among the players moved this offseason? Obviously, you had Marner, then you have Nick Ehlers. Is Zegras the next best player that was moved? Or I guess maybe the highest ceiling player that was moved? Brock Besser stayed with his team. I guess Keandre Miller was a big trade going to Carolina. But as far as forwards are concerned, especially centers, like obviously Zegras isn't a huge target out there, but he's one of the best players that got moved.
Well, players with the best potential, I would say. But yeah, that's true. I don't consider it a big fish, though, considering how little the Flyers
I don't either. I don't either. But it's just like trying to think about it. It'd be like, because I've been talking about this whole time. Like this Zegras trade could be a steal, and because it happened the week of the draft, like no one's really talking or thinking about it. Like, all right, we got Trevor Zegras. We'll see what he is. But if Zegras hits, he can be a legit 1C. He can be a legit 1C, and you have solid 2-way defensive centers behind him.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what he can do. It should be fun. It's the last year of his contract too, which means he'll be an RFA next year. And there's a few RFAs on the Flyers that they'll have to make decisions on.
Yeah, I saw someone said like the Flyers have like 20 RFAs next year going down cap wages. You got Zegras, Brink, Drysdale, Zamula, Erison, then a bunch of non-roster guys: Dorwart, Rizzo, Gurbenkin, Gaucher, Gendron, Tuamala, J.R. Avon, Hunter McDonald, Andre, Ethan Sampson, Kolosov. Like Briere has a lot of business he's going to have to tidy up between now and next July for those guys.
I think the big ones will be Erison, Drysdale, and Zegras. Like those are the three. I would say those are the three critical ones where you have to keep some cap flexibility for. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of the other guys, especially on the Phantoms, have shown enough to prove that they've earned a big raise.
No,
like they probably still get like a 2-year bridge deal, $1 million, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about those guys.
Except Andre. Andre is one who like might demand more. Or Zamula, Brink.
Brink is the one I was going to bring up because, like, how much is he going to make? Because Forster just got 3.75 for 2 years. Cates got $4 million for 4 years. Like, I see Brink in that $3 to $4 million range, which I feel like is a good deal for him.
Yeah,
if he keeps it up. If he keeps it up, obviously.
If he keeps it up, yeah, I think in the $3 million range would probably be appropriate. I don't know what the cap percentage will look like, but. I don't think it'll be as much as Noah Cates because he's more one-dimensional. But he might score more.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like Bobby Brink had the 6th most points on the team last year, which seemed crazy. 41 points, 12 goals, 29 assists. I mean, all these guys should get more points next year as well with the power play, hopefully. not being absolutely dreadful. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good pieces here. The Flyers got to figure out what they're doing on, and they have the cap space next offseason to either sign their guys or go after other RFAs potentially.
Yeah. Speaking of RFAs next season, I've hinted at it before, but do you think it's coincidence that Briere got 2027 first and third round picks? Like, do you think he did that on purpose, or is it just a coincidence that is a offer sheet bracket. And before we get into this, I know you can only give up your own picks, but having auxiliary picks makes it a little easier to sell a fan base in a rebuild that you're giving away an unprotected first round pick.
I think it's just purely coincidence. It is nice that they have them. I don't think the Leafs the Leafs did have their 2026 first round pick. They traded that to Boston in the Carlo deal. The Kings, I don't know what they had in terms of their third round picks when they offered up for Kuzmenko. Like, I can't imagine the Flyers were like, no, give me 2027 for Kuzmenko or no deal. Like, I imagine
they specifically targeted a 2025 pick for Sean Walker. So I wouldn't put it past them to, like, you know, want a specific draft year.
Kings have their own third round pick next year as well as Dallas's. So maybe Briere the Kings were like, yeah, we'll give you a third round pick. Briere was like, all right, can you make that 27? Well, I mean, it's possible. There's a little tinfoil hat theory going on there. I like it.
Yeah. And if they go up another bracket where it's a first, second, and third round pick, like, you give up your own second, who gives a crap? You still have a first and third. Like, it's whatever. It's why if they do trade
Man,
we haven't done this in a while. I clearly can't speak anymore. I've lost the ability to speak English. Risto should bring back a first round pick, but if the best you can do is a second, you get a 2027 second round pick, and then you have extra picks in it for the first 3 rounds, so you can make a bigger offer sheet move. And then I was just going to say, if you go up to the 2 firsts, a second, and a third bracket, you get to pick 2 of the following 3 years first round picks, and at that point, you would hope the Flyers are competitive and they don't really care about what that pick is going to be. Easy sell.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on what happens this coming year. Like, the Flyers show that, okay, Zegras hits, Couturier can still be a solid middle 6 center.
Drysdale
takes a step forward. York shows that he's a solid top 4 defenseman. Michkov has a great year. Konechny ages well. Like, if the Flyers, if Ersson and Vladar works, like, maybe they do go out next year and go big game hunting for some of these RFAs, because that's what I feel like they're going to have an advantage there, because they have the Comcast money. They're one of the few teams that's going to be spending up to the cap, and there are a lot of good RFAs next summer.
So many. And going into this, just know 95% of these guys are probably gonna renew their contracts at some point in this season or at any time before July 1st. And the other thing is that many of them are on rebuilding teams, such as the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Anaheim Ducks or the Chicago Blackhawks. Guess what those 3 teams have tons of? Cap space. They have so much cap space that they could match just about anything. Although Columbus, after signing that Provorov contract, might be in a little bit more dire straits. But I made a small list of highly exciting RFAs. Did you have any to add to this list before we talk about them?
I did not really got the cap wages page up as well. No, a lot of those guys there you have on this list, if you want to just run through them real quick, look like they'd be, I'd take all of them on the Flyers.
Oh, absolutely. Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, Leo Carlsson, Logan Cooley, Thomas Harley, Jason Robertson, Shane Pinto, Cole Perfetti, Kevin Korchinski, Simon Edvinsson, and Jackson Lacombe. I would target. Is there any one of those in particular that you would target? Because I have one that I would go after hard.
Well, I mean, I'd love Bedard or Fantilli or Carlson. I don't think they're getting to RFA. The one guy that I was looking at a few days ago and I feel like could be realistic is Logan Cooley, or also from Utah, Barrett Hayden is also an RFA.
Barrett Hayden.
And they don't have Barrett Hayden's like a 40-point guy right now. He's not gonna.
Yeah, he's kind of mid.
Yeah, he's kind of mid, but I feel like he could be like a how the Blues got 2 kind of mid guys, but it worked out. Like, he's a 6'1" center. But I think Cooley would be my top guy. That's potentially realistic.
Mine is Carlson. And I'm going to tell you why. The Ducks are cheap. First of all, they're cheap. Second of all, it's not Greer. Verbeek. Verbeek is the GM of the Ducks. Yeah. He plays hardball with his RFAs. Drysdale and Zegras missed training camp because they couldn't get contracts done. Guess what player is like in the middle of that right now? Mason McTavish. Like they play hardball and are just jerks to their RFAs, or at least Verbeek is. I can see a world where Carlson is like not going to be jerked around and the Flyers just swoop in and be like, hey, here's $12 million a year for 3 years. Come play in Philadelphia. And he signs that.
Yeah, it's just, it's so easy to dream about these offer sheets, but then you look at like who's been signed by them and who, like, it's very rare for them to not get matched. But like these guys are definitely potential trade chips. We see that, with McTavish and Rossi on the market now, kind of, because the Wild don't want to pay Rossi. McTavish appears to be on the outs in Anaheim. Like, I feel like there's going to be 2 or 3 of these guys that are going to be able to go out and get them, and the Flyers will have the pieces to either trade a player or picks to go out and do that.
Jackson Lacombe also on the Ducks is another guy I'd look at. He's a left shot defenseman, I believe. He had just a dynamite season with the Ducks last year. Let me pull it up real quick. In 75 games, he had 14 goals and 29 assists, good for 43 points as a defenseman. He was getting almost all of that on even strength. He had 12 even strength goals and 21 even strength assists. So he's 6'2". Like he's trending in the direction of a top pair defenseman, I would say. So if you can offer sheet him because the Ducks have to pay Carlson, there's ways to maneuver this.
I'm down to have the Anaheim Ducks as like a Flyers farm team to go out, get Drysdale, get Zegras. I'd love McTavish. I'd love Carlson. Amazing. Like, I love what they've been doing up until this offseason, basically starting with the Trouba trade. Traded for Trouba. Now they got Kreider. Now they've traded out Zegras for Paling. Like, it's like they're trying to compete now while also build. And it's just, I don't think it's going to work for them. Maybe it does with Dostal if he can actually be the real deal in net. But yeah, I mean, Anaheim right now is $21 million in cap space, and they're not paying McTavish. Like that just shows how cheap they are. And I mean, they got to pay Cutter next year too. He's an RFA, and if he has another strong year, he'll be wanting we know he's not shy about asking for what he wants.
Making the bands.
Yeah. So, and Mintikov is an RFA too next year. Like, they got a lot.
I think Zellweger as well.
Zellweger too. Like, they have pieces that you can go out and be like, hey, you guys are focused on here. Let me see if I can sneak in there and help you. Help me help you. Yeah.
Help me help you. I mean, it's the same blunder that the Oilers ran into. They signed like Arvidsson and Skinner and left themselves vulnerable because they'd taken up all this cap space and took for granted that their RFAs were just going to accept these cheapy bridge deals when they were like, no, we want more playing time. We want more. And they're like, no. You're too young to make those demands. So the Blues are like, hey, there's an opportunity here. Boom. Yeah. It's a shame. The Oilers were one Dylan Holloway and one Philip Broberg short of a Stanley Cup this season. Sure looks like it.
Yeah, they definitely could have used those two there in the Stanley Cup final. So injuries caught up to them as well. But I mean, so did the Panthers. Panthers had a huge list of injuries that they just partied their way through.
They sure did. Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, there's some really exciting 2026 RFAs. 95% of them will be re-signed, but just in case, the Dallas Stars are the other one to target. Thomas Harley and Jason Robertson, both up for contracts, both RFAs. Robertson already got a pretty big contract, so he'd probably want a even larger one going forward. Depending on the direction that Jim Nill takes the team, maybe only one of those guys is going to get paid. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Stars are interesting too because, they're clearly they're shopping Robertson to some extent now, so he can't really like that, and they don't have a ton of money coming off the books next season. Like, the only pending contracts to have is Robertson, Ben at $1 million, Maverick Bourque at $950,000, Harley and Lundqvist. Like, they have a lot of their cap already tied up, so that could be a situation where you go in and maybe target a Wyatt Johnston. He doesn't have a no move clause. He's going to be a solid center there. You could trade.
They're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him.
Well, maybe you trade for Robertson and you get that left wing. You trade him a right wing.
Winger.
You trade him a winger and a defenseman for Robertson. There's a lot of flexibility out there that
Sure.
But what does it have to make, Joe, It has to make sense. It has to make
yes.
sense. And the Flyers are keeping a lot of options open. So, ton of great RFAs out there. Obviously, a ton of great UFAs as well. I've been looking at Kirill Kaprizov's stats recently. Did you know he's averaged like 47 goals per 82 games in his career so far? Like, it's just
insane.
Absolutely incredible. Like, injured most of last year, but yeah, averaging 47 goals.
He would have won the Hart Trophy if he hadn't gotten injured. He was unbelievable. He was unreal last season. It sucked so bad to see him go down.
Yeah, I mean, averaging 99 points per 82 games in his career. Like,
crazy.
If the Wild aren't signing him, which, I think I saw something that Russo was talking about. He wants like a Draisaitl or higher contract. We'll see what the Wild do. Like, it doesn't have to be a center. You can win without a 1C as long as you have the depth and you have the wingers to support him.
I want to talk about that. If we that's why I was asking about 2021-22, but we can come back to that.
We can jump to that now, and then we can do the draft what if after.
Okay, so 21-22, what was the best line in hockey?
You're taking me back a long time now. 21-22. I don't
arguably
know,
the best line in hockey.
Oh, was that? I don't know. Was that the Bruins perfection line year? No, that was before that.
No.
What was it?
With 500 minutes minimum played.
All right, what do you got?
Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, and Johnny Gaudreau. That was the best line, arguably, in hockey. They, I just had it up. They had in 965 minutes together, which was the most minutes any line had at 5-on-5 that season, a 62.2 expected goals for percentage. Their Corsi for percentage was the best in the league at 58%. They were just unbelievable, utterly dominant. Who's the weakest link on that line?
Lindholm, I guess.
Yes, yeah, he is an okay 2C. He had the best year of his career. I think he had 82 points. Let me just double check that. Elias Lindholm, and we all saw as soon as Tkachuk and Gaudreau left Calgary, he kind of fell off. And then in Boston last year, he really fell off. Like, he is not a first-line caliber center, but you have two superstars on either side. All of a sudden, you got a guy. He did have 42 goals and 40 assists, so 82 points in 82 games that season. Second in Selke voting. He ain't that guy. Oh. But you have a superstar winger in Tkachuk, a star winger in Gaudreau. I want you to picture the Flyers in 3 or 4 years. What is Porter Martone's biggest comp?
Matthew Tkachuk.
Matvei Mickhov, Johnny Gaudreau, very different players, but both of them are undersized, high-skill wingers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need Nathan McKinnon or Connor McDavid to take on that kind of workload as your center. You just need someone who has the pace and the skill and the sense to keep up. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but what if it's Jack Nesbitt? What if Jack Nesbitt is just that guy? He's not a 1C in any other world, but when you put him between Martone and Michkov, all of a sudden you got something. Or Luchenko even.
I was about to say, why do you keep you're shafting Luchenko here? Like, I don't think I want to put Martone and Nesbitt, two big bodies, necessarily together. But yeah,
okay.
Put Luchenko there for the speed, two-way play, Martone for the big body, and Michkov for the the playmaking. I love that.
Yeah, it's just.
And
I was trying to fall asleep last night, and it came to me. I was like, wait a minute, what wasn't that the best line in hockey? And I'm like, Flyers have two of the physically similar guys already. What if the missing piece is a center that we would never expect it to be?
Yeah, I'm looking now at the Flames' other lines on a money puck from that year. They didn't necessarily have the depth that the Flyers are going to have.
They did not.
Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman, Mangiapane, Backlund, Toffoli, Coleman, Backlund, Pitlick, Lucic, Monahan, Lewis. They didn't have the depth that the Flyers are going to have.
And the other note on Lindholm is that most of his other best career years, I think he was on the wing. I don't think he was playing center in some of his other better career years. So if you look at his just underlying stats and you're like, well, he was really good then too. I think the year before that he was on the wing with Monahan and Gaudreau, and then like the year before that it was like Monahan and Kachuk. So
yeah, he's always taken a lot of faceoffs though. So I don't know if
yeah.
maybe he's the faceoff taking winger, but yeah, he's never been. Yeah, that was clearly a career year for him. 82 points. Next highest was 78, and then 64, and last year 47 in Boston after getting that big contract.
Yeah, David Pastrnak wasn't enough to bring him back to that, that level of play. But it just goes to show, like, he's probably like a decent 2C. He was like a decent middle six center for most of his career. And, maybe that's just enough. If your wingers are such high-level stars, then as long as you can keep up and not be detrimental, that just might be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, Zegras, I imagine Zegras isn't going to play poorly enough to not come back after this year unless he has more injuries. So they'll have Zegras. Yeah. They'll have Couturier as long as his back and body holds up. They have Luchenko coming up. They have Nesbitt in a few years. They got Cates if he wants to go back to center. Like, they have the center depth. And I've been thinking about this recently. Like, the big knock on Zegras is his faceoffs. That's the one bad thing. And maybe his defensive play too. But looking here, like last year's point leaders face-off percentage, like McKinnon just under 50%, 49.9%, McDavid 47%, Eichel 45%. Like a lot of these top line centers aren't great in the face-off circle either. Like Braden Point 48%, Sam Reinhart, not a center but took 500 face-offs, 41%. Like, you don't necessarily need to win possession off the face-off to win possession. Like Thompson 42%. My boy Tage Thompson there. Jack Hughes 38%. Like, you don't have to win a ton of faceoffs to be a great center.
I think a lot of that comes down to the Ducks are also just bad. So it really highlighted, like, Zegras's weakness in the faceoff circle was highlighted by the fact that nobody on the Ducks knew how to get puck possession back. Like, maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah, like Connor Bedard, 38%. Nazem Kadri, everyone talks about as a great two-way center, 46%.
Bedard is different. Like, he's a 20-year-old kid. I don't expect him to be winning face-offs left and right.
I know, but under 40% was surprising for me.
Jack Hughes is the interesting one. Because, I mean, I guess if you're playing with Timo Meier, or you also have Nico Hischier, I bet Nico Hischier is pretty good at face-offs. Yeah. But if you've got like Timo Meier and Jesper Bratt, I bet those two are pretty good at getting puck possession back because they're really, really good players. So,
like just with that, like, it's not just the center. It's not just the center. You have to get the wingers to go in to help win the faceoff, defensemen too. And I'm just looking at Sean Couturier, his faceoff percentage over the years, 40 from when he was 19 coming into the league, 47, 44, 47, 48, 48, then jumped up to 55 and has been above 50, 57, 59, 56, 55, 56 last year. Like, he clearly found something to use that. And so hopefully he can help out Zegras and the rest of these guys.
Didn't Giroux have a moment like that too, where he just spent an entire offseason learning to, like, how to win a faceoff? Or
probably
was he always just good?
He's always been around 50%. Yeah, he's always been great. I mean, 60%, one of those, 61% last year. That's incredible.
Unbelievable. That's just crazy, dude. What is his secret? I don't understand what his what he does.
He would have been the perfect.
Yeah, it's the red hair.
It has to be the red hair. He would have been the perfect, like, Christian Dvorak, but better if he wasn't Claude Giroux and would have come back in with the leadership while they're trying to do this whole new thing. But Dvorak going to be a solid third line guy, win faceoffs, play PK. Do you think Dvorak signed here kind of like knowing that he'll play center, or do you think he might play on the wing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What do you think, Joe?
What do I think? I think he's gonna. I think he expects to play center. But if one of the kids is just, you can't deny him. Like, if Carson Dorwart for some reason has just a crazy good camp and is like going to be the 4C, I guess you just move Dvorak over to wing. Like, I mean, I'm sure he knows the score, which is like, we brought you in to play center, but this is a developing team. And if one of the younger players develops and is better than you, or at least has proven that they deserve a shot and it would help their development, we might move you around. Although ultimately that's Tockett's decision, not Briere's. So who knows what the message there is.
Yeah, I think he trusts Tocchet and Tocchet trusts him, where he'll get he'll be one of the last guys to move to wing. I think Cates will move to wing before him. Potentially Zegras, but I do want to see Zegras at center for most of the year just to see if he can hack it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of moving pieces, could have been moving pieces in the past 2 years. Like you have here, what if the Flyers seasons were flipped? Is that's what we're going to here.
Yeah.
Pick sixth what if they picked sixth 2 years ago and 12th this past year? How would you feel about the prospect pool? I guess I'll throw this one your way. This is your scenario. What do you think?
I don't think it would be that much different than how we feel about it now. For a refresher, if the Flyers had picked at sixth in 2024, some of the players that would have been available were Yakimchuk, Tij Aginla, Sam Dickinson, Berkeley Catton, Zane Parekh, and Anton Silyev. And because Demidov went fifth, so the Canadiens, which is so annoying. Like who of those guys do you think they would have taken? Probably Catton, right? Or
Catton is the guy I'm
Dickinson,
maybe. Maybe Dickinson, but then gets Dickinson Bonk pair. Dickinson went 11. I mean, Zeev Bouillon would have been there for him to take at
okay,
6.
well, yeah. If they didn't take him at 12, they weren't going to take that guy at 6. I can tell you that. So
yeah,
I think maybe they would have leaned towards Dickinson, and so they would have taken Dickinson 6th, and then this year they would have taken Nesbitt 12th. So you're basically, I might feel better about the current arrangement with Luchenko, Martone, Nesbitt than just the other two. Plus whatever they would have gotten at 21 and 31. Or 22 and 31.
I'd much prefer Martone over any of those guys available. Even after maybe Levshunov, I'd take over Martone, but I'll take Martone over Seneca, take him over Lindstrom.
I'd take Demidov.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like it probably would take Catton. Okay, I have pulled up here my article from last year, who the mock drafts had the Flyers taking at 12. Yakimchuk, Aginla, Yakimchuk, Hellenius, Yzerman, Seneca, Catton, Parekh, Yzerman, Catton, Hellenius, Yakimchuk. I feel like they really like Yakimchuk, didn't they? Because he's the big boy, went to Ottawa at 7, right-hand shot. I feel like they probably would have taken Yakimchuk at 6 there.
He scored 100 points as a defenseman in the W or something that draft season. It was crazy.
71 points.
71 points. Okay, yeah. That's still crazy as a defenseman.
30 goals. 30 goals. Yeah,
that's
still pretty good.
Wild. That is crazy. And he was mean, right? That was the other thing. He was mean.
He was a Keith Jones typical pick there. If it was a Yakimchuk was on the board.
I imagine they might have wanted Dickinson, because I think they were hoping Dickinson was going to get to them at 12, and then San Jose swooped in and got him, and they were like, well, shit, we don't want Bouillon. What do we do now?
Yeah, there was a lot of smoke around Dickinson last year for the Flyers as well. But
he looks good, too, by the way. Like, a year on, he looks damn good.
Yeah, maybe I've just been Martone pilled, but I really feel like Martone is going to hit. And if he doesn't, he'll be a great second line guy.
Yeah, I think I'm happier with the current arrangement, which is Luchenko in 24, Martone and Nesbitt this year.
Yeah, and I really do think Luchenko is going to make the team. Like the more I think about it, the more it just makes sense from a Flyers evaluation point of view, which also makes sense. Yeah. We have to bring up here with the draft. Like, all right, who would the Flyers have evaluated? Who would they have drafted? Who would they have developed properly? But with Luchenko this coming season, they have to know what he's going to be. They have to know if he can, be just a 3C. Does he have that where he can, show flashes of being a 2C? What are they going to have to do next offseason? Because if he's still in the mix of not knowing what he is, if he goes back to juniors again this year, I could see him maybe being a part of a trade package if the Flyers take a big step this year.
Oh, You mean the Flyers would trade him, not like his OHL team would trade him?
Oh, I'm hoping the OHL team trade him, but like,
Right.
if Zegras hits, if Couturier is a decent 3C, and the Flyers can go out and get one of those RFA centers or UFA centers like Eichel or McDavid, trade for an RFA. Like you maybe trade Luchenko, to trade a guy similar age, but his ELC, he's not going to be paid as much, like to Utah, like a team like that, or trade a Nesbitt. Like I feel like they have the pieces, but you have to see what Luchenko is going to be. That's why you have to see how he fits with his team. And also, I just don't think he has much to gain from going back to the OHL. Like, play him even third line minutes. Like, he doesn't have to play second line. Play him on the third line, see how he fits in, and see how he fits in for the future.
Maybe give him some workload management too. Just because we saw that with other rookies. Playing 82 games is a huge jump from juniors in college too. They play like half that. So yeah, maybe if you like rest him every couple games or whatever. I hadn't considered like showing what he can be and then using him as a trade chip.
I'm not necessarily saying to showcase him or anything, but
no, I know
the Flyers, like, they don't know what he is. Like what's behind this Jet Luchenko door? We don't know. Let's get a look at that.
Boat.
It could be a boat. Like, you never know. It could be a boat. Like, let's see what he is to see how he fits in our plans for next offseason, when that is when they really want to go their big game hunting. Like, if he can be the 3C and Zegras can be the 1C, like, maybe that's just they go out and get a Barrett Hayden instead of a Logan Cooley. But if Luchenko or Leo Carlson, there's different levels of guys you want to go for. But I do think they really like Luchenko. I don't think they'll be looking to trade him, but if a Tage Thompson becomes available or one of those RFAs, like, there's not many untouchable guys. As I need a Tage Thompson jar for this podcast.
God, I'll say it's like it's the Sean Walker, the Scott Lawton jar, or take a shot. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. No, I think they like him a lot too. But if Anaheim is like, yo, we'll trade you Leo Carlson for for Jet Luchenko and the Toronto first, you go. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Although Fantilli's the dream. Adam Fantilli would make such a great Flyer, man. He would be so good on the Flyers.
We'd have a great lookalike as well with Ryan Quigley. He looks just like Ryan Quigley. I'm not sure if you see it as well. I've said it before and other people don't see it, but he absolutely does.
He so does. Fantilli? Quintilli? I love it.
We'll figure it out. All right, almost here at the hour mark. Anything else we want to touch on here before we close this thing out?
No, I think that about covers it. We got some good stuff on today.
Hoping to put together a top 10 prospects thing. If maybe as a podcast, maybe a separate thing with us. Hopefully get Jacob, Cole, Thomas, Maddie, all those prospect people involved. If hopefully do that next week. In the coming weeks here, in the dead of the summer, we can talk about the future, and then start getting into some player expectations and whatnot after that.
Yeah, we're getting into cottage season. We're in cottage season. We're in cottage season. Yeah. So if you guys have any like mailbag questions or anything you want to hit us with, get at us. We'll get to it at some point.
In the Discord, on socials, and any of our comments of our articles that we may or may not be reading. Let us know.
Comment on the video. Why not?
Smash that like button. Comment on the video. Subscribe. We do appreciate all of that. It makes us feel good. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. Who cares if it helps the show? It makes us feel good, which is really the most important thing.
It is.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Where can people find you?
You can find me at jfdemarini.bsky.social. Gilbs, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social. That's going to be it from us for now. Believe survivors, and until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.